got on in years, and in his late 80s and early 90s, developed very, very serious health problems. And he had to keep reminding himself of one of his heroes, the Greek philosopher Epictetus, who said, it's not what happens to us that's important, it's how we react to what happens to us that is important. So Al would always find the positive side of it, the bright side of what was going on. He would always put some humor into the situation, and that's what I've learned over the years. I knew about Epictetus and his famous philosophy before I met Albert Ellis, but I've not had an easy life. I've had ups and downs, health problems, financial problems, representing aspects of psychology that have been very provocative and very unpopular. And yet, if I find some humor in it, and if I get some satisfaction of seeing something that I've fought for many, many years, finally getting into the mainstream, being accepted and helping people, that is very rewarding to me. So, for example, right now I'm in a very, very difficult situation with somebody I barely know, somebody I've never met in the Philippines, but he happens to be a friend of mine, and he is from Dubai, and he converted from Islam to Christianity. And as you know, there are Muslim terrorist groups in the Philippines, and one of these groups kidnapped him and beat him up and took him to the provinces and left him for dead. And so my friend said, look, I need $25 to get up there and take some police and put him in the hospital. And so I sent him $50. I said, well, you will need a return trip. Well, they found this poor guy and put him in the hospital. And then he said, well, you know, we don't have any money for the hospital bills. My God, I didn't anticipate that. This was a government-free hospital. Yes, it's free, but there are still expenses. And now we need money to cover the police expenses. But the police are on official duty. Yes, they're on official duty, but they still have expenses. Okay, so they saved this poor guy's life. He got treated, ready to come back to Manila. We don't have any money back to Manila. Well, what about the police? They're working for the government. Yes, but the government can't bring them back. Too much red tape. They have to get back right now. So here, I began sending hundreds of dollars, which I can't afford, to save somebody who I've never met. And if this were a scam, I would actually feel better. I'd be able to cut it off. You know, but it's the harsh realities of it all. And they're back in Manila now. I'm just hoping that there's enough of a support group to help him out so that my donation to his welfare and for free thinking and religion is mercifully over. But I have had to work personal mythology on myself. And when I tell my friends about this, one of my friends said something that really rang a bell. He said, Stan, you can't save the world. And I've never attempted to save the world. If I can save a few people here and there, fine. But I thought, you know, he has announced a personal myth, and so I've got to think of this in personal mythology terms. Be careful before you save one person, or you might extend your resources too far. So I am still learning about personal mythology. And by the way, I don't have anything against Islam and pro-Christianity. There are plenty of Christians who have gone out and murdered abortion providers and their staff, you know, so the violence is spread equally among every religious group that I know of. I can tell horror stories about organized religion for the rest of your program. But in this particular case, it was this conversion that was looked upon as being blasphemy and deserving of death.